매번 야야야야야 불러 널 야야야야 내 맘을 고백하려고 타이밍만 보는 나 그런 나를 넌 보며 왜 그러냐고 묻네 너 때문에.
Removing the blindfold from your eyes, you looked around to search for him. He was just here, holding you, and had brought you here, but then where did he go again? You looked around and turned, but then found him on his knees, kneeling down in front of you with a ring in his hand and one of his hand on his chest. You jumped in tiny while clapping your hands and bolted towards him, taking him in a big hug, which made him fall back with you on top of him. He wrapped his arms around you securely. You giggled and Jungkook laughed while hugging you tighter. When both of you were back to normal, he sat on the sand and took you on his lap. He took your hand and slipped the promise band in your ring finger. You looked at the ring and smiled widely. Jungkook leaned down to kiss you, but you stopped him by placing your hand on his lips. He lifted his hip off the ground and pulled another box from his pocket, having the exact same ring, and gave it to you. He forwarded the ring in his hand. You giggled and slipped the ring inside his ring finger and took his lips into a soft kiss. Jungkook caressed your back slowly and lifted you up, taking you towards the tent he had set up for the night. You smiled at him and let him take the lead that night. You opened your eyes with tears still running down your cheeks. Your body shook with the amount of tears you have shed. You looked at the person who was shaking you earlier and realized it's your husband. He sat on the bed and hugged you to him tightly. You broke in tears once again, realizing it was just your dream again. Jabam caressed your back, giving you the most needed strength. You tightened your hold on him and cried your heart out while he patted you back. Your hold on his body tightened with every passing second as your memories started flooding your brain all at once. After spending a few more minutes trying to calm yourself, you loosened your hold on him and moved away from his body slightly, but he still had his hands around you just in case you break down once again. You looked at him with your damp eyes and slowly nodded your head in his direction. Yes, that's right. Jabam, your husband, he was asking you about your ex-fiancé ever so casually with nothing but care filled in his eyes for you. You looked at Jabam once again and he smiled looking at you. He pulled you close to him once again and you leaned your body in his arms. He slowly bent towards the nightstand and poured you a glass of water. A sob threatened to break out of you at the mention of your love of life. Jabam patted your head for one assurance, and his next word rolled out of his mouth, although were facts but felt like venomous. He said nothing but parted from the hug he was taking you in. Although he showed that he did not care, but you could still see the slightest twitch in his brow. He got up from the bed only to bend again and peck your forehead. It has become a habit of his to kiss your forehead after all the time you have those dreams. He turned to leave, but you called him. He smiled and left your room while you stand at looking at the ceiling, thinking about everything. How your ex-fiancé proposed you and got into a car accident just after a month. It shattered you from inside that for 3 months you were in depression, but because of constant support of your parents, you overcame it. From the day you realized that Jungkook was no more, you started living for your parents. You closed your eyes slightly, only for your conscience to speak in your head, to move on and some stress like Jungkook would want it to.